Nexus King calling, there was only one thing to say. Hell, it's about time.
About time to get into Game 3. That's what I'm hearing. B-Step and Teammate are tied up in our series. Soon we'll be heading into the Battleground pool. We'll get to see where the Battleground's going to be. We're going to go into the draft and then right back into the game.
That's exciting. Sadly,
Table of contents.
In case you needed a TLDR to, I can't even say that because they're watching, not reading. Either way, if you needed the breakdown for what happens here at HGC, we're just waiting for the teams to get into the lobby to figure out what our new map is going to be. Anything, first thoughts on what you expect, what you don't want to see, what you want to see when it comes to the map?
Let's check it out. I want to get right to it. That's what I want to see. So Battleground pool, Teammate winning the last game means that B-Step chooses first pick or map pick. They choose first pick, and Teammate has selected Infernal Shrines.
Gonna be taking us to Infernal Shrines, a map that Teammate is very well known for. Different strategies. Very successful in part number 1. When it comes to the map, a lot of teams even feared it and was willing to ban it for them.
But also a battleground that B-Step has chosen before. They chose it versus Naventic. And they also chose it versus Team Freedom. So both feeling very confident as we head into Infernal Shrines.
Yeah. I wonder how that'll play out. I'm still leaning towards Teammate. Obviously, Teammate has, if you were to take 10 team fights that have happened in this entire series so far, they have won 9 out of the 10. The one that they did lose was late game of game number 1, you know, so it's very realistic that they will pull ahead once more here. Nothing stands out when it comes to strategies other than maybe you might see Glorong on Sonya.
Double support for B-Step.
That's a good point.
Should be watching out for that possibly. If they don't want to deal with it, they need to deny it.
All right. It was only a double support, though. It wasn't a double support, double warrior. That's not true. Every version of double support we've seen so far was in a double warrior, except for the Johanna earlier today.
B-Step had the one time they got Ariel Mouth and then Gul'dan and Noob Thrall. So double melee, but had K1 Pro playing Thrall.
Yeah.
And then yesterday versus Team Freedom, that was a double warrior and Noob Leo.
Interesting.
Same battleground too. They definitely love that strategy here.
Yeah, they think the sustain is around. It makes sense. See how it works out for them. Into the draft, Lucio's got to be a focus of a ban for Team 8. Is there anything else?
Teammate is not going to get to ban that though, because they are second pick.
True. They're going to have to ban
unless they give up tasks.
I'm going to say doubt it, you know? I heard he's good at this game. I don't know.
I like when I put all of my drafts in the drafting spreadsheet at the end of the day, and it's just like on the right-hand side, which is where the second bans are. It's just like Tassadar, 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 Tassadar.
It makes it really convenient because then you just double-click the thing and it drops through the rest of the Excel.
Look at you with your Excel knowledge. We're such nerds.
The only reason I actually even managed to learn a little bit of Excel was purely off of drafting. That was the only reason I even spent any time to learn that. For some reason, I was like one of the few that went through high school without ever learning Excel.
Actually, I did too.
Like, see,
how did we make it?
I don't understand. I don't really know, to be honest. But we're here. We've got the draft. We're going to get it going.
Get pumped.
I'm missing a pen that I threw on the ground before. Give me a moment.
A clean workspace is a clean mind.
That's a good one. I've never heard that one, but I can just expect
some made it up.
really poor VHS in the middle of your first day at a mid-tier job, and they throw it in, and they just go, this lady who's very clean is just like, yeah, a clean workspace is a clean mind. What? The first ban task?
Yeah.
Because they want the Zarya. Now, Team 8 has to decide if they really don't want that. And to be honest, they're probably just going to ban Zarya. That took long. Now that we figured out all the world's hardest questions, Gilly.
Change is upon us.
Change. Oh, wait, who is that?
Dahaka.
Is it? Yeah, you're
Except
right.
Change is upon us.
You need about 40 years more of smoking. You might be close.
I can't do it.
Malfurion is the first pick for B-Step. Team 8, what do we expect from them? Emphasis on one of the sports. Do you just take them both? Get the Lucio Ario rotation.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. We're not Gale Force Esports here.
It does seem a bit too bold, to be frank. I like Falstad Lucio.
Okay. If teammate want Gul'dan, they Gul'dan Ario? Or does that leave open B-Step to just take Lucio and they don't want to give that away?
Well, if you go into the Falstad direction, you have the... Okay, well, there goes the Gul'dan question. But you are no longer too worried about winning the double support battle. Try and focus more on split pushing.
Right, but they do want a good support for Gul'dan. What they would deem to be good.
Yeah. Do you pick up the Ario here now if you're B-Step then?
Lucio is the greatest of DJs.
He is pretty neat. This is his song, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's got it going. I can respect that. I like how you try and get the bob like him too, you know? Throw on the roller skates, because he does that kind of like back and forth. Yeah, and he gives you the... What is that, man? I just feel like...
That's the...
When I was young, there was a roller skate rink near my house in the middle of
Oh,
nowhere.
story time!
Middle of nowhere, Wyoming. And in fact, every birthday, because there's only one in the entire place, was always at this place. And their DJ logo and branding was all about a kangaroo and roller skates. And he kind of does that thing too a little bit. So that's what I think of when I actually see him. It's just a kangaroo from my every birthday party I've ever been to in my whole life. And he's just kind of like going like this. That and like them just jamming out Britney Spears and NSYNC music the whole time.
Sounds like the next skin for Lucio.
Yeah, kangaroo.
Kangaroo?
Sure.
Kangaroo DJ.
I can, you know, I'll just call up my pals. Be like, hey, we really need this right now. I'm sure it'll make it happen. Tychus and Murden? Anything standing out?
B-Step do play a lot of Tychus, but potentially also a little bit of a denial. Also, if B-Step wants to have double warrior, it's a deny of being able to have that to go against it, but at the same time, I think it's more of a deny. Like that Falstad ban.
The Falstad ban says it just screams Dahaka though, right?
Yeah.
Prismaticism can play the Ragnaros here. It is Infernal Shrines. Like I said, it's fallen out in North America almost everywhere outside of our first series of the day. No Tomorrow was willing to pick it up, but still sees play on specific maps in Korea.
Tychus is also good for shrine clear. As well as like poking around the shrine if they
it's more
go into Odin.
Yeah, I think that's how I would put it. He's kind of just pokes it rather than actually controls it. Because when you actually put him on the race, he's like, is my Q off cooldown? Because if it's not, I'm just gonna stand here.
But Odin gives a long time to poke off everyone else off the shrine.
Yeah.
While you have someone else clear out.
What is the ban? Medivh. So another hero focused towards Glong, but it does leave open the Dahaka that he can play. I think that forces him almost into it. Other than Sonya, Greymane, I guess that's true. I always forget the Greymane. Always forget the Greymane. I would really actually enjoy that from them. There it is.
Your wish is their command. And both.
Yeah, that's going to be Prismat. All right. B-Step here. Now that we've made our way down, they have one support. Do they pick a second? They do. History says they do. What do you want? Anyone? Just a Lucio?
Do they take Ariel to
With no
deny
battery?
his battery?
You can't do that.
Battering for Gul'dan? Her battering?
You have to pick a Lunara right now if you do that. You have to pick a Lunara or Vala. You can get away with Vala. You could Ariel Vala here, actually, and I think it would work out pretty well. But that's the only way you could, that or Lunara could pick the Ariel and justify it. Other than that, you have to give it up. You move into Lucio and you run whatever backline you want.
Is Tychus enough of a backline to get a support and a warrior? Anyway, would they want another backliner plus a support?
I mean, I feel like he's decent enough. He does the percentile DPS, plus he's got the, you know, we talked about the length of Odin. Yeah. And that's the main point, is you just got to win one Punisher rotation. You're going to be losing on an Anuba Rack. Okay. And Nazebo. So the first time in part 2 that B-Step has not played double support on Infernal Shrines.
Yeah.
Man, I've got so many questions.
Changing things up, Dread. In this series versus Teammate, they're tied. Looking good for really the first series. They did have game 1 versus Freedom, but they want to continue that momentum. Who is the support for Buds?
I will fight to my last breath.
Gonna be Rhaegar.
Neither Ariel nor Lucio.
I'll be honest. Don't know why. On the Rhaegar. I don't... Rhaegar, okay, so Rhaegar and Infernal Shrines used to be really high priority because he has his own shrine control, but like, they've got Arthas, Dahaka, Greymane, Gul'dan. Like, they don't need a Rhaegar by any means. So then, what does Ancestral provide that nobody else really can? They've got Arthas, Greymane, Dahaka, all could really use the burst heal, which then makes Kharazim less appealing. But it's still just better early game than Lucio-ish, and it's going to be able to help Gul'dan, maybe not wanting the Gul'dan-Lucio awkward early games. Early part of the game?
Is it response to seeing a Nazebo get picked up at all?
I don't understand why.
Like,
I mean,
he has that area healing. At the same time, though, you look at Lucio, and he spikes late game just like Nazebo does.
And Ariel is, like, insane for AoE supporting. Like, she is one of the high... Like, Rhaegar is one of the weaker supports when looking at just healing output.
Maybe Merc Camp control. Rhaegar can jungle. They have Rhaegar and Greymane, so they have just this insane jungling potential where they're getting multiple camps at once.
Yeah, that would be another argument they could try and make, and it is a map where, you know, being able to get those side marks can really set a team apart. They have the macro advantage through globals. No globals exist on the side of B-Step 2, so I would make that a little bit more relevant. I feel like more than anything, it's just a bit of comfort. It makes sense over the Kharazim, just over the Ariel. I'm still not totally sold. But I mean, I'm always a Rhaegar fan, obviously. I've always one of my favorite heroes, so.
Okay. You have heard it here. It's time to get into the game. Game 3 between B-Step and Teammate.
I dropped my pen again. Every time!
Are you just missing the desk? What's happening? I'm throwing into the game and mass chaos ensues.
I don't know, dude. I honestly don't know what's happening. It's like I had popcorn before I decided to come cast or something.
Butterfingers.
Got him. Oh, Infernal Shrines. One of the most reliable maps to be able to make it to 20 versus 20. Just because the map objective and the strength of it.
No Moonburn. B-Step takes scouting drone.
B-Step
switching it up.
They aren't conforming. They're sticking it to the North American man. They're like, not today. We will not fall for your cultural shift towards Moonburn.
Who's playing which warrior? Oh, K1's playing a noob. Okay. I about had a heart attack thinking about King Caffeine not playing Murden, but all is good.
It's a nice root. Not enough damage to follow up. B-Step will, for one wave.
Does got a lot of Widowmaker stacks, though.
Control early. The early parts here are the minion waves. Teammate now kind of inverse rotation, trying to beat them out. Is this going to be a Murden to Haka 1v1? We know how that goes.
It's not the easiest time. It's not a lot of fun, but maybe Murden can start stacking up his Perfect Storm.
Murden used to actually solo really well when there was a bug with his passive, where you would spec into Perfect Storm the old school version, which was just a stacking non-mana refund. Hold on a minute. He's just dead.
He's dead. K1 Pro's there.
There's
They're
no
all up
way
in the
out.
air. King Caffeine still body blocking. Burrow back in. Justin maybe can try to turn this around. Cap's fairly low. Glowring's here too. They'd love to go after McIntyre, but back in time and with a little scoot. B-Step claim first blood and get away scot-free.
But you would go into the bonus damage on Stormbolt.
Yeah.
And you would just not even when your opponent would be a better 1v1er, you can hold your own, right? But if you throw out every Stormbolt you have onto the turrets and how fast that thing chunks, it's Sledgehammer, right? Is the name of it?
Sledgehammer at 4, yeah.
The thing just takes out turrets like 4 deep. So you'd be like, I don't care how fast you kill the minion wave, Dahaki, you're never going to kill me. And I just, bam, front wall, gone. You go for the Pierce at 7, so you hit 2, and you always angled yourself to hit a turret and the front gate. It's a strategy that I would like to see Rez back. I don't know if this is the time nor the place, but I believe. Skeletal Defenders are going over to Team 8 very confidently, but B-Step pulling the no tomorrow route, forfeiting the first objective to be able to pick up a sidewall.
Team 8 are responding pretty quickly. Start to move up. Yoda's here. Dragon hits Nazebo. Got a Howling Blast to follow up. That'll be at least 1 kill. Roots trying to zone off so that there isn't anything further. But Greymane just slowly taking out the rest of the Skeletal Defenders needed to claim the first Punisher of this game.
Caffeine just shows up and he's just kind of like, yeah, I really can't do anything about this, so just gonna look for more stacks. Noob's caught out, a lot of damage. No time to burrow out there. That is now another kill going over to Team 8. Punisher to boot through bottom here. They're even gonna wait it out. They're just gonna stack more camps. They don't care. I actually love what they're doing right now. It's not a huge power spike, but I've never understood why teams get the first Punisher. That's, I'm gonna be honest, that's one of those Dread conspiracy theory moments. Is it goes like, do you really need this Punisher though? You were winning every single lane, and it's not gonna gain you much other than another front wall. You know what I mean? It's just like, why not just wait it out? There's 39 Skeletal Defenders worth of time that B-Step would have to rotate there, and you could just decide last second, throw out a Greymane Flash, bam, you got the Punisher still.
Yeah, and Dahaka being able to soak, he's working on soaking 2 lanes. Mercenary Camp still in mid, Mercenary Camp here in the bot. Punisher just now taken out. And what would have maybe just been a front wall instead is a fort, because Team 8 took the time, had the patience to wait out and get every advantage that was available off of that 1 kill before getting the final Skeletal Defender. They called the bluff of B-Step. B-Step said, we're not going to make the rotation in time, so we're just going to siege up and top. But Team 8 got those kills and then took it right back to B-Step, getting every advantage they could too, and now that has put them a full level ahead of B-Step.
You know, it's just, we've seen this before. Team 8 versus B-Step every game. Team 8 pulls ahead. It's more going to be the 20 versus 20, or does Team 8 find a way to be able to open up the map to actually end before B-Step can really get to that point? And it just doesn't feel like this is not necessarily going to be one of the best maps for that. What are you thinking?
Concussion grenade at level 7, not a normal. You pick up a grenade, it's usually quarterback at level 7 for increased range. This increases the radius by 25%, and knockback distance is a lot higher. So what do we think of this?
Arthas, it actually gets you out of range of his E with the increased range, enough to be able to actually gain distance. You aren't just walking E to run away from his Frozen Tempest. So I haven't seen this before, but I think I kind of like it.
Cool.
You know, especially because the original reason why everybody went quarterback kind of got nerfed recently. Keep in mind, no cleanse here. Left up,
McIntyre. He sees Gul'dan, so does Cap. Prismaticism dives right and left. Tyke has already been taken out, so even if Prismat goes down, this will be a 1-for-1. Heroic abilities, though, come online. Horrify and Ancestral Healing. Team 8 goes right back into the fight.
Glarum trying to cut everyone else off that he can. K1 Pro is going to be the last member of B-Step falling. Shrine is up, and Team 8 still just furthering their lead. Team 8, I would really like to see them take out a minimum of this fort before they finish the Skeletal Defenders and get this Punisher. Because again, they have all the time in the world. No rush.
Yeah, they may still do that. They're just trying to get a huge lead on the Skeletal Defenders, but then they can always step off once they have enough. Plus, a lot of them were low. You can see Glaurung going back, Justing did the same.
Just buy a bit of time there. I guess without the 10 advantage now, because of, again, everybody staggering the backs and buds, being the Lone Ranger here, finishing things off. Gets caught out, follow-up roots, knock up 2, Twilight Dream is there. And somehow B-Step ends up getting the pick here just by the staggered rotations back that teammate had.
Yoda used adaptation there, maybe thinking that he was going to be, what's up, let's get into this fight. But Cocoon, this time on the side of B-Step.
Horrify was in, went off. Yoda gets knocked up. King Caffeine and everyone just death falling. And they're going to be able to pick off Justings. So just, how?
Teammate went back. They went back, B-Step came in, it was like the miracle, perfect timing before Punisher was grabbed.
But it's just, the fact that teammate is even giving those kind of chances. Like, I can understand what they were doing. Like that. You know?
Yeah.
Just yep, just a casual yep.
This match is weird, man. But teammate do get the Punisher. They still have a slight advantage. They do not have their gray main, but similarly, Nazeebo still out of the play for a few more seconds for B-Step. That gives teammate the fort. Dahaka, ever chilling in another lane, is putting the pressure on into mid. Teammate are going to try to make that rotation so that they can start putting damage in that lane, maybe take out the final fort. So they're guaranteed if they can get the next shrine, they start working on some keeps.
One major difference for this game for B-Step compared to every other game is that's the first time they have actually won any form of close to an even skirmish before the 20 mark.
Yep.
The biggest difference. So now, you know, you got to ask, does that mean that just B-Step just starts dominating the rest of this game? They've got it in them? Or do they still pull the classic, you know, wait it out? They're still behind only half a level. This invade is known, and it's going to be patient play for B-Step for now.
How hard do teammate push this? They would love to take the fort down.
Honestly, they should be able to take it, but they failed to commit to things a lot when it comes to structure sieging. Like that. They get scared really easy. I mean, we've seen it about 3 different times so far in this series.
Yeah, the last game when B-Step had Gul'dan, it made sense. You siege versus that wrong and things are scary. We're gonna have another team fight. B-Step's ready to commit to it. Twilight Dream and Horrify at the same time, and mass destruction on either side, but Odin's gonna come back in. Ice Block for a long time keeps iDream alive, and it's gonna be a 1-for-1 so far.
Yeah, and that Ancestral landing onto Prismaticism, Justing in the 1v1 versus McIntyre's Odin. Odin reigns supreme, so now that is 2 members dead here for Team 8. The Cocoon Dream is all B-Step needed to be able to come back in this game, in this series. Widowmakers has been completed, though, for the Nazeebo. That is a big, big deal. Meaning that B-Step's composition is only going to take off more and more. Once he hits 16, he is completely online. He is the terror that is Nazeebo.
B-Step is winning team fights, but they are still behind structurally. Any shrine for Team 8 is going to start doing extra damage, more difficult damage to come back from. The mid, yes, it has a fort, but it's already low. There's nowhere to bait behind. So likely that would just have to be given up and try to defend at the keep. So B-Step want to get back in. They want to start claiming these punishers that Team 8 so far has had complete dominance over.
B-Step is, they see Dahaka on bottom. And, oh man, they really wanted that camp. That shaman camp. And when I say when they really wanted the camp, it means like they just gave up a whole Punisher for it?
Yeah.
Is that going to be worth with Dahaka, who's just going to walk up there and casually clear it later?
Surely they knew how fast this could be cleared by Team 8.
Yeah, they knew that. It's just, I just feel like I'm really missing something, Gillian. I need you to help me out
trying.
Here. I really. Like, I'm not crazy. That was really weird to completely opt out of that. And Dahaka caught on bottom. Survey says he good. That was a Family Feud reference, if you didn't know.
Family Feud?
Yeah.
Dang, you have all the references.
That was... You don't know what Family Feud is, do you?
Yeah, it's a game show.
You've never watched it?
Yeah, with the families. Oh, Survey Says, yeah.
When he gives that really... Like, for decades, he just always yells at the... He just surveys... Oh, man. You can't, you know, just... I really feel like honestly, my talent and ability to come up with clever statements is really lost on you.
What are you talking about? I get all your references.
Yep. Especially the hip-hop ones.
You never get my pop culture references.
You're not wrong.
So
I probably don't do you justice either. That's a good point.
we fail each other as we assist each other.
Justing Pop's army.
He needs some assistance.
And so does Greymane. Got an Ancestral. Twilight Dream was used, though, so things might now not look good for B-Step. Yep. Adaptation. Gonna heal everyone up.
They found K1 Pro. The bug will not leave the fight. First kill for Team 8 as they look for more. They take down the Gargantuan. Small victories here, but one kill that allows them to at least start sieging somewhere.
We'll see what they manage to siege up again. They, you know, teammate doesn't commit to structural advantages. Very easy, even when they have a better siege here. You know, not having a new brag means Murden's the only initiation to truly be afraid of. We'll see what they make happen. Good zombie wall coming out from iDream, but everybody's going to walk away.
There are some mercenary camps up for grabs for Team 8 to try to get a hold of in time. Make sure that they can get those so that they are at the shrine in time once it spawns.
Be able to beat out B-Step once more on the Punisher. Has B-Step even won a Punisher yet?
No.
They didn't win a single Dragon Knight until they won the one that won the game.
Really, they have not even tried too hard versus them. They've just been trying to get advantages elsewhere.
That is one of the weird things about Infernal Shrines. We've seen it since the release of the map, but even today we've seen two examples of giving up every objective. You lose structurally, but the map is big enough you can make up for it through experience soaking. So this is how you can kind of, this is why I was saying you can bank on the 20 versus 20, because the map moves so slowly. But it's just really interesting, you know, just knowing that experience is this close and you look at kills near the same. It's just 3-4 difference. It's all about minions versus structures.
Oh, they're fighting over this one though. Odin dropped down. Cleanse gets out justing.
They're already 15 behind though. Yoda moved up too. Adaptation was used. And he's taken almost no damage, so that was no healing there out of that heroic.
Yeah, he has been using these insanely early in the fights. It worked out in the last fight, but it has not always worked out. That is one heroic down for one other heroic. Odin, tie up on Skeletal Defenders. Zombie Wall catches two. Knock up from Anubarax Impale along with it.
Garg trying to split it out there. He's going to look for that slam. Prismaticism zoning off B-Step though to the Warriors. There is the drag. Bringing it in, but Cap is going to get that Dwarf Toss out.
Teammate has sustained through a lot, and they have a lot of members still on the point. Yoda's the one in trouble. He Tunneling Claws out to buy time for Ancestral Healing. Twilight Dream hits one. Is Arthas.
Greymane's go for the throat was used, not confirming a kill either. Dahaka ends up falling, but the Punisher goes to Team 8, so down a man. B-Step forced this. Every time they've had a man up, they have had no hesitation to force any situation. Is the Punisher intimidating enough to force him out?
B-Step used all of their heroic abilities. They will have Cocoon up pretty soon. It's low, and Odin was so early on at the beginning of that Shrine phase that it's up fairly soon too. So maybe once they get their heroic abilities.
They're going to get damage on it after the leap. I really want to see B-Step just go. And teammate backed out very, very quickly here outside of Glorong. Just based on not wanting to risk that fight at all. But that's the small windows that B-Step have gotten at all in this game have been based off exact situations like that. Just minus the Punisher, but they were far more patient there.
Teammate closer to 20. Clearing out minions, clearing out mercenaries. Not contesting the Mercs for B-Step, though. Not until they can have 20 advantage. Oh, I'm wrong. They start to step in. They see King Caffeine. They know other people are here.
Oh, there's the Horde fight.
Avatar.
And he's out. One kill. Everybody, you know, walk away. That's going to be the camp for Teammate. 20 closing in that much faster. Teammate has to get a keep with this 20 advantage, right? At least 3 front walls so that the next Punisher is a minimum of a keep.
They have their Shaman.
I just want to see, this is the moment where Teammate just goes, you know what? We don't care that you're down a man. Or that you even have any damage. The minute that this Shaman camp moves up, everybody just go.
20 seconds until Muradin.
Go, go, go.
The going is happening.
Okay, now Odin, walk away.
And guard. Although guard.
Yeah, that's totally
lower.
Weird. Now, once they move about 10 feet away from their fort, wait. It's right about this area. If they're equal to Teammate, now you force. Oh gosh, turn on them, please. B-Step, you could tell. They were like, all right, we're too far out. That's what I want to see out of Teammate, though. When they get those advantages, they just got 2 heroics for free. That is what Teammate needs to be doing with their structures, with their, you know, when they move up to a structure with an upper hand, rather than just kind of being like, maybe we don't want this. That's what I want to see from them.
Horrify in just a few seconds. Drag hits, plans used. King Caffeine back to the team. Justing's been rooted. Use Army of the Dead here. That would be huge to get that. Yes, he does. Cocoon stalled out by Teammate. Yoda jumping on in.
Ancestral is still available here for Teammate.
Horrify 2, Glow dives in.
Cap, homing missile hits that onto Glarung. There's going to be Ancestral to restore his HP.
Horrify was used. Keeps so close to dead. Yoda's there. Tunnels back to his team.
They're trying to nope on out of here, but Yoda.
Yeah, their roots, they're ready to catch him, and King Caffeine was there too. B-Step looking for more, diving on Glow, take him down. He doesn't trade up with iDream using Ice Block. Prismaticism, the next in line, the next in trouble. 3 kills for B-Step. Teammate, get a keep, but at what cost?
At what cost, Gilly? We have found ourselves a moment where B-Step, surprisingly, I know you guys have never seen a game like this, but in fact, if you had, where B-Step miraculously wins a late game team fight and actually gets their first objective.
As I said, I have never seen it. Debilitation was picked for New Barak. So new talent as a New Barak is, once he was reworked, enemy heroes hit by Burrow Charge have their spell power reduced by 50% for 4 seconds.
50%. That is actually insane.
I know, that's why I said I can't believe we haven't seen it.
Into a Gul'dan?
Yes.
That's a good point. You know, into somebody who only does mage damage. Like Greyman's a hybrid, right?
In 4 seconds too. Think about it on team fight, man.
I mean, it is a pretty big deal. You know, I'm gonna keep track of that. I'll try and keep extra focus on how much value we see out of that new 16 picked up by K1. Who even?
K1 Pro, yes.
It is K1. I'm still getting used to this.
iDream's Vile Infection's also fully stacked. So everything is ready for B-Step victory.
All right, so after the 2 camps, B-Step has decided they would like to bring their Mortar Punisher to life. Odin with the big red button, not big red button actually, is on its way, so not nearly as effective sieging. Bait over the wall. All right, you know where they're at. Odin's nowhere to be found for a while.
Cap dives over the towers. K1 Pro dives right along with them. Glowering was the target.
Tychus.
Yoda gets caught afterward too, and Twilight Dream takes him out after he tunnels. Cocoon has been dropped as well. This may be it. This may be B-Step once again winning a late game team fight. Horrify hits, but it's too late. Teammate have lost 2 members.
Oh, but the Greymane actually got the kill on iDream. That's a lot of their late game damage. Stormbolt didn't hit Glarung either. Bud's falling low, but the autos coming out from Odin. And now quickly B-Step looks to the core. Shielding is going to be removed, but the Greymane poke is enough. We're 90% on the core. Can they get it?
Arthas, so close to down. 80% is the core. Glarung fighting for his life. His team's life dives over to McIntyre. Doesn't get the kill. Now he's in a terrible position, and he is brought down. A full team wipe for B-Step. And they take down the core. They take out Teammate, and they will win game number 3.
Amazing. Even with a Cocoon, a very different draft approach, changing the draft. I talked about how they were very self-aware that they felt their drafting was not on point. And in fact, drafting the double support 2 times in a row and then voiding it here with a Cocoon. A new Barak, new 16 talent was picked up. I mean, heavy changes here for B-Step, and it's working. 2-1 over Teammate.
B-Step made the plays that they needed to make. The mid-game fight that they won, the late-game fight that they had to win too, they were able to sustain through a lot of the sieging that happened for Teammate, but I will say that I didn't feel like the Dahaka play from Yoda was as promising as the other 2 Dahaka players for the team.
I don't think there's about anybody who watched that game who would feel differently, so I agree.
So maybe just Teammate needs to rein in the flexing a little bit, keep calm, motivational speech. Yes, they're down 2 games in this series, but they still have all the tools needed to come